What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be doing a Jalen Green Houston Rockets rebuild. Because this is 2K21, I had to simulate a full season just to get to this year's draft, and because of that I ended up with the third pick in the draft, so I needed to trade up. I did get rid of Eric Gordon in that trade. I was gonna end up getting rid of him anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but that is why he is not currently on the roster. Before I begin, I would just like to ask you guys to drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I say this every video, but the grind is not gonna stop, so make sure to stay tuned for more content. Alright, so starting off in free agency, we should have a little bit of money to spend, so I'm gonna see what our options are here. I don't expect to win in this first season, but we do have Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr., so I think things are headed down the right path. This team has $28 million in salary cap to spend in free agency. I also could get rid of John Wall, but he's only on a one-year deal, so I'm probably gonna keep him and trade him later. I was looking through the players, and Norman Powell stands out to me. He's not looking for too much money. 19 million is a decent amount, but it's not too much, especially for a 2-year deal in NBA 2K, so I'm gonna give him that offer. I'm also gonna give Gary Trent Jr. an offer. He's only 22 years old, so I can use him to help build around in the future, so I'm gonna give him a big 3-year deal, and I think he'll accept. So Trent Jr. accepts, and that means I no longer need to sign Norman Powell because I can just put Gary Trent Jr. at small forward if I need to, but I'm most likely gonna have him playing shooting guard behind KPJ. I'm also gonna move Jalen Green to small forward and have his secondary position be shooting guard because I want KPJ to start at shooting guard. We also don't have a single power forward on our roster at the moment, so I gave Nicholas Batum a small 1-year offer and he accepted. Alright, so the roster is pretty much set for this first season. I don't expect to be in contention, obviously. For the most part, we are a super young team, and I am now going to go to the first game of the season. The lineup I am going to use for my first season will have John Wall starting at point guard. I'm probably going to end up trading him halfway through the season though. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be at shooting guard, Jalen Green at small forward, Batum at power forward, and then Christian Wood playing center. I'm going to simulate the start of the season with you guys. It's hard to keep track because of how fast the thing moves, but we are starting out 4-2. I'm going to stop it right here, and I want to see how some of our players are doing. Christian Wood is averaging a double-double with 19 and 12, so that is a pretty good start for him. The main reason I already wanted to look at the stats is because Jalen Green. I just wanted to see how he's doing, and he's averaging 20 points and 6 assists. So a great start to the season for Jalen Green and for the team, but anyways, I'm going to go to the All-Star break, and we'll see what our record is.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I made it past the All-Star break. We are 22 and 35. I did end up holding on to John Wall. That could be a mistake if I don't extend him. I just didn't really see any offers that stood out to me, so I just wanted to keep him for this season and probably extend him now that he's still on the team. So now I'm going to simulate to the end of the season. Hopefully we can get to 30 wins, but if we don't, that'll just be better for the tanking. It is now the end of the season. Joel Embiid won MVP, averaging 29 and 15. That's an impressive stat line, along with 2.5 blocks. Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Joel all made the first team. The funny thing is, we got exactly 30 wins, and that was the goal that I set for this season. I just simulated past the playoffs for you guys because obviously we're not in it. The Pelicans won the championship. Brandon Ingram won Finals MVP. So in the draft lottery, we get the 12th pick. Obviously, we're not going to get a player like Jalen Green, but we can still help ourselves out with a good pick. I really need to fill that power forward hole that we have, so I'm going to draft Daniel Phillips. He's an auto-generated player, but he's 23 years old and is the 5th ranked prospect actually, so that might be a steal. I messed up, guys. I miscalculated John Wall's contract. I forgot he had another year on his deal, so I'm going to have to trade him. I cannot pay him $47 million this season. This right here is the best deal that I see out of all the offers for John Wall. We do have to give up a first-round pick, but we get Torrey Craig and a young power forward for the team. So now that I traded John Wall, we have a ton of money left over for free agency. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to be my first offer because realistically, I know I'm not going to get one of these top players. So I'm going to give Michael Porter the best offer I can, and of course he decided to sign with the Nuggets, but that's fine. I'll just go for somebody else. Jaren Jackson Jr. would be a perfect player for this team. I gave him an offer and he accepted, but I'm just waiting to see if they match it, and they match it. So now with Jaren Jackson Jr. off the table, I'm gonna go for John Collins. He plays the same position. Gotta give him that player option. Hopefully he signs with us. Doesn't on the first try. He signs with the Kings. Man, I can't get anybody. The next player I'm gonna give an offer is Jonas Valanciunas. He's asking for a ton of money, so that's why I only have him on a 1-year deal, but hopefully he accepts. This would let me put Christian Wood back at power forward. So $31 million it is. Please accept. he finally accepts, so we get somebody. I am going to run Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard since we traded John Wall, but that means I need a backup, so Frank Ntilikina is going to be the guy that I choose. I'm going to offer him $10 million for 1 year just to make sure that he signs with us. Doesn't even accept the first time, but he accepts the second time. So now the roster is set for my second season. Kevin Porter Jr. is starting at point guard. Like I said earlier, Gary Trent Jr. finally is starting at shooting guard, Jalen Green at small forward, Christian Wood at power forward, and then Jonas Valanciunas at center. I think we'll have a shot to be able to make a run in the playoffs this year. I doubt we'll win the championship, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to simulate to the All-Star break like I did last season. Alright, so I am at the All-Star break, and honestly, this team disappointed me. We are only 19-35, so I am going to have to make some moves at the trade deadline. I'm about to make a genius move right here, but I'm going to flip Jonas Valanciunas for a young player who I can have next season on a cheaper deal. So since Jonas Valanciunas did not translate to wins, I am going to trade him and a first-round pick for Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris Sr. I'm also going to trade Gary Trent Jr. for Rashawn Holmes and Brook Lopez. I think this deal will help us out in the future too. I don't really care that much for Brook Lopez at the moment. I'm probably just going to release him after this season, but Rashawn Holmes I want to keep to be my starting center. Alright, so now that I made those trades, I'm going to simulate to the end of the season. I don't expect to make the playoffs anymore, but we'll see what happens with the 2K simulations. So we did not make the playoffs. Luka won MVP, averaging nearly a 30-point triple-double. Again, I'm just going to simulate the playoffs. I don't really care what happens. It goes super fast too, so it's hard to keep track. Somehow the Pelicans got in the finals 2 years in a row, but the Celtics win. Tatum wins finals MVP. Alright, so with the 5th pick, it seems like there was only one good option here for some reason. The 5th ranked prospect is Gene Erickson. He's a 19-year-old power forward, so I think that's an easy choice for us. I don't think I'm actually going to bring back Luke Kennard because he's asking for way too much money. I will bring back Christian Wood and KPJ though. For some reason, Christian Wood did not want to come back to Houston, so I'm going to have to sign a guy like Clint Capella. He did play for the Rockets in his past, so hopefully he'll be willing to come back. Of course, he doesn't agree to the first offer, but he didn't sign anywhere, so I can give him a new offer. I'm just going to keep throwing him offers until he accepts, along with other players like Colin Sexton. I could really use him too. I kind of do need a big man, but I need somebody on this team. Nobody is accepting. Alright, so Clint Capella just did not want to come back to Houston, so instead I gave D'Angelo Russell and Colin Sexton offers, and they both agreed. I know it's kind of weird to have this many guards on the team, but I think it's going to work out. You guys saw me sign Colin Sexton, but for some reason my mic cut out when I signed Russell. I might have to pick up another big man before the season ends, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so I decided I am actually going to make an early season trade for a better big man. We are a decent team so far in the year, but I think we can be even better than that. I don't know who I want to throw in this deal. Probably the rookie that we drafted along with Daniel Phillips. And then I'm going to also throw in a first round pick, and we'll see what that'll get us. I see Josh Green and Frank Kaminsky. I don't really like that deal. I'm just looking for a good center. Isaiah Stewart, I traded for him in my last video though. I found the trade right here. It is for Moses Brown and Jake Gilmore. I think this will really help us out in the future, having 2 centers instead of just 1. Alright, so now with that trade, I'm just going to simulate all the way to the end of the season instead of the All-Star break because I think we don't need to make any more changes. So now the season is over. Jokic almost averaged the triple-double, but he did win MVP. We are number 1 in the power rankings and in our conference, so I think this is the year that we're going to win a championship. But anyways, Luka made the first team. Trae Young, Giannis, and Zion and Nikola Jokic obviously made it as well. Why does this happen to me? We're facing Luka in the first round of the playoffs. It's 3-2. This is so scary. Like, why do we have to face him? We do win. It's just so hard to announce what happens in the playoffs during simulations because on next gen it just goes so fast. But we get past the second round 4-1. We are facing the Phoenix Suns now. I'm just going to simulate. We sweep them. We are now on to the finals against the Bulls. I'm just going to simulate this round too, and we win 4-2. We are NBA champions, and our boy Jalen Green wins finals MVP. That is going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button and subscribe. Comment below your thoughts and what you want to see me do next. Stay on the lookout for more content in the future, and until next time, I'm out.